So, for almost the entire week, Bitcoin has been crashing. And today makes yet another day where Bitcoin is crashing. And what is currently going on here is a combination of multiple things hitting Bitcoin at the same time. I think, in my opinion, the biggest fear or concern that's going on is the fear of the energy usage that Bitcoin is consuming in order for Bitcoin to be operational from the Bitcoin miners. Now, I've addressed this in previous videos. I do believe that the usage of high volumes of electricity is very likely to lead to innovations in clean electricity into the future. But there is a reality here going on that is that Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. Most of the energy that's used is not renewable. I think when I've looked at statistics, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 25% of the energy used to mine Bitcoin is either like hydroelectric or it's some sort of clean, good, renewable energy. About 75% of the energy being used is traditional energy that's not quite as clean. Now, I've also done a little bit of research and looked into a few statistics. It sounds like over half the people that are mining Bitcoin are using clean energy, but the caveat with that statistic is that they might be using clean energy, but that might only account for 10, 20, 30% of all of their energy usage. So they're not only using clean energy. And that's an important thing to kind of look at. The other thing that's going on is China has been cracking down on Bitcoin. So I want to kind of track back a little bit into the energy consumption. This is something that Bitcoin does use a lot of energy. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And in my lifetime, I've actually not heard of any companies using a lot of electricity and therefore being bad. Now, when I think about that, one, I can say that this is just me, my data points as Josh, like I'm not speaking for every person. But the second point is I feel like maybe the reason behind that is people don't have an issue with energy usage when energy usage serves a very specific, clear function. So, Times Square uses a lot of energy, but people go there and enjoy it. But Bitcoin secures a network, which is a function, but there are a lot of people that can argue that you could certainly secure that network with a significantly lower amount of energy. So I guess the way this breaks down is if you're sitting in a room with the lights on, no one really has an issue with that. But if you left the room and left the lights on, people might have an issue with that because you're just kind of using energy that's not being appropriately utilized. And so this is where proof of work versus proof of stake comes in. Going a step farther, it's really important to look at what's in the cultural mindset. Bill Maher produced a video that I thought was pretty objectively bad that showed that he didn't understand cryptocurrency. And I will continue to say that he didn't understand cryptocurrency, but I will say that he did have an accurate point that Bitcoin uses a lot of electricity. I've rebutted that to say that I think that large electrical consumption can lead to clean energy, which I do believe. But, on an objective basis, I can see the other side of that. And where this is getting a little bit more tricky lately is there's getting to be this resounding cry of Bitcoin uses a lot of electricity. So the Wall Street Journal had an article that says Bitcoin is causing like coal mines or something like that to pop back up that weren't being used. You had the Pope weighing in on this and saying that Bitcoin needs to be replaced. These are really weird things. The Pope actually did this on Twitter, so I'll put the tweet like right here or right there. And I guess that's interesting to me because these are thought leaders, right? These are people that control a lot of the mind share of the public. So I think that's a concern. I'm personally not super concerned with the energy usage of Bitcoin because I think in the long run that will work itself out. And I do think it would eventually lead into innovations in electrical production and innovations into the electrical efficiencies of computers. It's because normally necessity is the mother of innovation, and that's my personal belief. But if a lot of people are saying Bitcoin is not green and there's an issue with it and there's a big push to be green, I think that could be a real hit for Bitcoin. I mean, I think that could be pretty scary. If the biggest thing I think Bitcoin had going for it and still probably does have going for it, is this wall of institutional capital that wants to invest in Bitcoin. And when Tesla came out and said they invested in Bitcoin, it set off like a tidal wave of institutional capital that was just like waiting on the sidelines. And Michael Saylor put on a conference on how to add Bitcoin to your balance sheet. But the combination of the news and the media hitting the electrical consumption, Elon Musk backtracking his thoughts on Bitcoin as a medium that he's willing to accept as payment, and some of the debates going on Twitter, I'm on the fence. I don't have a prediction as to whether Bitcoin's going to go up or down from here, but I can say that Bitcoin is going to need to fight off this issue and somehow shed the image of overuse of energy. And maybe that's done via the Lightning Network and it's more energy efficient. Maybe there's some other thing that goes on with it. But as Bitcoin drops, all of the other cryptocurrencies are dropping with it, which is really interesting because a lot of them are proof of stake, meaning they don't use anywhere near the electricity of Bitcoin. And in turn, I think that goes to show the dominance of Bitcoin as an asset for cryptocurrency, because it's not like Bitcoin dropped 30% and these other coins are continuing to go up. In fact, when Bitcoin dropped this much, the best performing coins are like stable coins, which means that they're just supposed to say 1-to-1 with the dollar. So it's a lot going on. And I think that, we're going to see, if energy consumption continues to be a very large issue, there may be a migration of value away from Bitcoin into other cryptocurrencies. Matt Higgins, who's a venture capitalist that I really respect, he kind of made the statement that maybe Bitcoin is the MySpace of cryptocurrency and maybe it won't be around into the future. I don't know if that's true. Again, like I keep going back to, I'm totally on the fence here. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin hit $250,000, but maybe there is some reality that we're going to hit some rough waters with Bitcoin. But I think the whole thing's interesting. I think it's very interesting that the proof of stake companies or cryptocurrencies are still going down while Bitcoin is going down. And I'll be very interested to see what happens in the next coming weeks and months. And my hope is that there's probably some middle ground where there's ways that can satisfy both sides, where either more innovation in electrical usage comes quicker, so it's more green, or maybe a Lightning Network comes along, or there's some ways to make a better use of energy out there and satisfy both sides. But I think only time will tell, and I'm hopeful that things go very well with this.